Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some more shorter-term technical analysis on Bitcoin because in today's video, I want to try to explain to you guys why Bitcoin has been trading sideways in this region for the last 2 weeks or so, because there is actually a technical explanation, and I know it's been very boring, and I'm sure you guys want to know when Bitcoin is actually going to be breaking out of this range, so we're going to be discussing that in today's video. We also have some rather interesting news coming out of China because China guarantees citizens on-demand anonymity with a state-backed digital currency, which could be coming out, quote, in the next 2 to 3 months. Anonymity and China go together about as well as America and China go together, so that's really kind of an interesting statement coming out of China. We're going to be diving into that news article later. I think you guys will find that interesting. Nevertheless, guys, if you do enjoy today's video, consider hitting that like button. It really helps out the channel when you do that, and I would be appreciative if you did. And if you're new here, also consider subscribing. We do daily cryptocurrency content, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of it. If you're interested as well, you can join our Discord server at the link in the description down below. We have a great community over there, and I'd love to see you join us. But anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and jump on to the more messy chart that we normally do our analysis on. If we zoom in here to the hourly chart, then we're going to see a bit of a mess. And with the magic of editing, it is gone. But nevertheless, guys, as you know, Bitcoin has been trading sideways here pretty consistently over the last several weeks. We had an uptrend of support here that Bitcoin was maintaining, but as you can see, Bitcoin actually rejected off of it here in the last couple of days. Now, we discussed all of that in yesterday's video, this one right here, so I do recommend you watch that. But in this video, I want to talk about the trading range that Bitcoin has been in over the last several weeks and see what we can do to figure out when that's going to come to a conclusion, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting kind of tired of a Bitcoin starting with the number 8 or 9. I'd like it to start with 10 or 11. Well, guys, the first thing I want to do is zoom out to the daily chart and show you a couple of the different levels of support that have prevented Bitcoin from falling below $8,500 or so. As you guys will know, over the last several days, Bitcoin has been pulling back compared to where it was, and we've set a few lows, one at $8,659 and one right over here at $8,587. Roughly $8,600 is where our bottom is. As you guys know, some of the main moving averages I like to use are the 50, the 100, and the 200 simple moving averages, and the 20 EMA. But there is actually another moving average that is very much relevant in this case, and that would be this one, the 200 daily exponential moving average. Check this out. This is really cool. I love it when a moving average or when a technical indicator matches the market as perfectly as this one does. And we talk about the reason for that in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, how to spot a winning indicator and pattern. In that video, we talk about how to spot, well, a winning indicator and pattern. And one of the ways that you can tell what is a winning indicator and what is a winning pattern is how the market reacts to it. If you guys will look here, over the last several weeks, over the last 2 months or so, Bitcoin has basically caused this moving average to move perfectly sideways. And something really cool has happened because of that. Bitcoin was using this level as resistance. Now, on the other hand, though, Bitcoin is using it as support. As you guys will also know from another video in here, gauging the strength of support and resistance and gauging the strength of the bulls and the bears, when Bitcoin moves from using a level as resistance to using it as support, then that means that the market has in general trended more bullish, which we have done in the last couple of weeks. So that's good news. Bitcoin is sitting above support, and that's one of the reasons that we haven't fallen. Furthermore, Bitcoin has not dropped below this level yet, moving down to price targets around $7,900 that we've talked about in previous videos. So that's good news for Bitcoin as well. And I also just want to briefly have an aside with this moving average, so I don't talk about it a lot on the channel. This is actually a very good moving average, and you guys should have it on your charts. It's the 200 daily EMA. If you look back on history here, Bitcoin uses this very rarely. Bitcoin doesn't cross this moving average very much, which means that when it does, you're normally going to get a more valid signal out of it because normally it means something. The last major time that Bitcoin crossed bullish above this moving average was back here, you guessed it, in mid-October 2015 when the bull market kicked off. And then we crossed bearish below it during the bear market, and then on the April Fool's rally earlier this year, we crossed back up above it. Right now, we're using it as support, and if we could hold that and bounce from there, that would be a very bullish sign indeed. And it's not only that moving average, guys, we're also getting support on another one. It would be the 50, which is right here. As you can see, we're getting support on our red moving average, and we even have the lows to come down and match it. Very clearly, these two moving averages are giving us a lot of support. But even when we're not discussing moving averages, there's actually even more reasons that we're getting so much support right here. One of them, you guessed it, is the Fibonacci retracement, guys. You guys know I love my Fibonacci, and Bitcoin is currently testing the 0.5 level, retracing back from $14,000 down to our bottom of around 3.2. That gives us a support level right here around $8,500, and it also gives our support level down here around 7.2. But it's not just the support level, guys, it's actually the resistance also. Up here around $9,800, we have the 38.2% Fibonacci level, and as you can see, Bitcoin is caught in the crossfire between both of these. If you add the moving averages back, it becomes pretty obvious what's going on here. Bitcoin is trapped between support and resistance. We see if there's resistance up here with the Fibonacci level and the 100 EMA, and there's support down here with our 2 moving averages and the Fibonacci retracement as well. But guys, one more thing before we start drawing conclusions here, moving on to the end of the video, and that is this, the VPVR, guys. You know how much I love this indicator, and if we check this out, Bitcoin is caught dead in the middle of some major VPVR support and resistance. As you can see right up here, starting around $9,800, just as we had mentioned with that Fibonacci level previously, and starting down here right around $8,400, which is right where that Fibonacci level was as we previously mentioned, there is a lot of trading volume. There's a lot of support and resistance. There's a lot of support right down here in this region below us to catch us, and then there's a lot of resistance and price action up here to stop us from rallying. This is why in the last couple of days, in the last couple of weeks, in several of these videos down here, I've been talking about decision points. I've been talking about how Bitcoin is trying to decide whether or not it's bullish or bearish. It's deciding whether or not we can continue this rally that started on August 25th. And it's rather important, actually, because if Bitcoin starts correcting down here to 7.2 or $6,000 or so, that could lead to a lot of bearish price action, and it might mean that when the halving comes, we're sitting at a lower price. But if Bitcoin does instead rally here and start moving to the upside, we might be sitting at a higher price when the halving comes. And by the way, that's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It might be a bad thing that we're sitting at a high level when the halving comes. Maybe that means that people start selling when the halving comes. It's really very cause and effect based. And a lot of times you don't know exactly what the effects of the causes are going to be. The point here is, guys, Bitcoin is sitting between major support and major resistance. We've been trading sideways because of that, and there's also not a whole lot of interest in the space. What we need are two things. One, we need some really interesting news stories to come out that start generating hype in the market. Again, we're going to talk about one of them in today's video. But two, we also need a lot more investors to come into the space. We need more interest in the space, but we also just need more money in the space because Bitcoin isn't really doing anything. The reason, in my opinion, that Bitcoin's been trading sideways here for the last 6 months is because Bitcoin is basically trading at what it's worth. It's basically worth $9,000 to $12,000, somewhere around there. If you'll remember back to the video we did on it, Bitcoin is trading almost exactly where the stock to flow ratio would predict it. It's predicting an $8,500 Bitcoin. We're trading at 87. So like I said, it's really not surprising that we're trading around this region. Conclusion time. What this means is that Bitcoin is probably going to keep trading sideways until something major happens. Now, I know that's probably not the news that you want to hear. I know it's not the news I want to hear. But until something big happens, like, for example, Xi Jinping talking bullish about blockchain again, like he did on October 25th, or unless a lot of money and interest in the space starts coming back, Bitcoin's probably going to keep trading sideways. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, guys, because you have to understand something. There is a silver lining to everything. The way that you become successful in cryptocurrency is not by making a lot of good trades. It's by making the best of a worse situation. If you can turn a bad day into a good day, then your good days are going to be great days, and you're going to turn a bad life into a good life. If you can turn a bad trade into a good trade, or a bad trade into a learning experience, which makes the overall situation a good experience, then that's where success comes from. It's not about having a good day when it's easy to have a good day. It's about having a good day when it's hard to have a good day, because then you're going to have more good days. You're going to have more productive days. You're going to have more profitable days. You're going to learn more, and you're going to outpace everyone else. The point I'm making with that, guys, is that when Bitcoin is trading sideways, that's not a lost opportunity. That's not a time where you ought to be leaving the space and not paying any attention. You ought to be using that time to learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So keep that in mind. Nevertheless, guys, let's keep going here. I do want to mention China for a second. China has been in the cryptocurrency news quite a bit lately. In fact, we were talking about them just yesterday, because China guarantees citizens on-demand anonymity with a state digital currency. That's a really interesting statement for really two big different reasons. One, because China and anonymity are in the same sentence. That doesn't happen very often. And also China and state digital currency in the same sentence. That doesn't happen very often either. If you guys have been in the space for as long as I have, you will remember this pullback in 2015 over here, where Bitcoin moved up to $5,000, and right around this time, there was some big bearish news coming out of China as it relates to Bitcoin and blockchain, and it helped result in a pullback to around $3,000. On the flip side, about 2 weeks ago, when Bitcoin mooned here, it was mostly as a result of Xi Jinping getting bullish on blockchain. He wasn't even talking about Bitcoin. And now China is guaranteeing citizens a state digital currency. China has brushed aside concerns that its planned government-backed crypto will be used to keep tabs on the activities of its citizens. Allegedly, users of the centralized digital currency will be guaranteed controllable anonymity, which basically means there's no anonymity at all if it's going to be controllable. as long as they are not engaging in illegal activities. Of course, there's an as long as. Speaking at a conference in Singapore, Cheng Shun said they were not seeking full control of the information of the general public. Per Reuters, users who demand a certain level of anonymity will get it, according to the state official. We know the demand from the general public is to keep anonymity by using paper, money, and coins. We will give these people who demanded anonymity in their transactions. However, there will still be controls in place to prevent tax evasion, money laundering, terrorism financing, and other illicit activities from being aided or performed using the centralized digital currency. Earlier this week, Jack Lee, the founder and manager partner of HCM Capital, a private equity firm backed by Foxconn Technology Group, indicated that the digital currency could be unveiled in the coming 2 to 3 months. That's quarter 1 of next year, guys. That's not far off. So they already have all the systems and networking ready. That's really interesting, guys. China is working on a digital currency. I mean, guys, you realize, okay, Venezuela has the petrodollar. Yeah, whatever. Some of these smaller countries are starting to get into cryptocurrency. That's great. But a Venezuela adopting a cryptocurrency is not going to revolutionize this space. Zimbabwe moving to a state-backed cryptocurrency is not going to revolutionize the space. They're just not big enough countries and therefore not big enough currencies. But guys, you have to realize something. China is basically neck and neck with America and the European Union for being the largest economy on planet Earth. Their GDP is sitting around $20 trillion. China is the most populous country on planet Earth, and they wield immense geopolitical power. And the fact that they are unveiling a state-backed cryptocurrency, that's a big deal, guys. I don't know what's going to happen when that actually gets announced and goes live, but I have a feeling it's going to be big. I haven't seen a whole lot of news articles on this just yet, so I don't think this is priced into Bitcoin's price action because I'm a commentator for cryptocurrency and I haven't seen a lot of news about this. So I don't think a lot of people have either. When this does come out and this does become big news and me and all the other YouTuber friends here on the platform start making videos about it and the awareness starts to rise, that could be ridiculously bullish for Bitcoin's price action, if not for the fundamentals. And I might get into the geopolitical reason I say that later, but I'm not going to in today's video. To wrap up the video, guys, here's the main point I want to make. Yes, the next month or two might be relatively neutral. Yes, Bitcoin might trade sideways. Bitcoin might not do a whole lot. But guys, it's news stories like this that I try to include in every single video if I can that remind us that the future for Bitcoin is as bright as it ever has been. Bitcoin is going nowhere fast, and we need to remember that this cryptocurrency is here to stay. Just because Bitcoin is moving sideways does not mean you need to leave the market. It does not mean that you need to get bored. It does not mean you need to give up on cryptocurrency and sell your position. What it means is that you need to invest your time in your education while you have the chance. Because I'll be honest with you guys, if you start trading and you don't really know what you're doing, you're going to lose a lot of money. Sometimes people ask me, Jeb, how much money should I start trading cryptocurrency with? This is not the answer you were expecting more than likely, but as little as possible. People think that just because you put 10 grand into cryptocurrency, you're going to make 10,000 more dollars. But the thing is, that's true if you're a skilled trader, but if you're newer to the market, you're not going to do that because you don't know what you're doing yet. And guys, that's why we created the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, is to teach you guys how to actually work in these markets while also being able to support what we do here as content creators on YouTube. There's a $40 off coupon code in the description down below, November 2019. There are no spaces to that. If you put that in at checkout, you're going to get $40 off on an academy that will teach you everything you need to know, more or less, about trading Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. There are 34 videos in here spanning 10 hours of content on everything from risk and reward management and how to plan and execute profitable trades to math psychology, gut feeling. This is one of my favorite videos. This is basically a video about market instinct and how important that is. There are videos on all of the different technical indicators in case you're not familiar with one of them that we're using here in the academy. Overall, guys, you get a lot of value for your buck. There's 970 students right now. We're getting close to 1,000 members, and I'll be honest with you, I could not be more proud of what our students have done. They message me all the time and say how well they are doing. I was just talking to one of them, Eddie, in the Discord server earlier. He was talking about how he's going through CT2A, and he really enjoys it. So guys, if you are interested, join the Discord server down below and talk to some of our students, see what they have to say, and if you think that it's the right place for you, then there is a link to the academy down below. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. There is a big surprise coming for you guys on Saturday, November the 16th, so watch out for that. I'm going to keep dropping hints, not so subtle hints, about that date. So guys, look forward to that. I think you guys are going to enjoy what happens on that day. But nevertheless, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. I will see you guys next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.